Welcome in, everyone. This is the live demo of our news feed and WGMI features that we've been working on for the last few months. We wanted to give just a little bit of a run through to give people a visual of exactly what this tool looks like, why we built it, how it's going to work, and what the experience will look like for the user in this tool. So what we'll start with is Tom will give a little bit of an overall run through as far as what WGMI is. We'll walk through some of the current tools that we have, as getting access to this all access beta pass will not only give you full access to all newsfeed features until December 31st, but you'll also get access to everything WGMI related, which is a good amount of different things that we want to walk you guys through until December 31st. So if you are listening to this, we are live on both Discord and Twitter. If you have any questions, feel free to DM us or jump into our Discord and jump in there, and we will be able to answer you there. If you can, please retweet the tweet that we shared from the WGMI account. Just to get as many people in here as possible. We'd really appreciate it. If you really want to do us a favor, you can tweet this out from your personal account. We're messing with broadcasts a little bit, Twitter broadcast, so it's a little bit different than Spaces, and that'll help us a lot. But Tom, I'd love to hand it off to you first. If you could just give people a brief walkthrough if they are just tuning in, they haven't really heard of us, just a brief walkthrough of really what WGMI is, how you came up with it, and just the journey of the last year or so, and then maybe what we've got coming up as far as newsfeed.
Sure. Thanks for the intro, Clemente. GM, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. So WGMI, so the site has been around, like Clemente said, it's been about a year. So we launched the portfolio tool back in July of 2021. It's definitely come a long way since then, and we're very excited to kind of take you guys through some of the features that we've added along the way and kind of walk you through the next phase and the kind of upcoming offering that we're excited to push out, coming up this week into next week. But, if you were in the space early last year, it was nearly impossible to keep track of your portfolio and have a good understanding of your holdings, the price you paid, the value of kind of all the different assets you owned across the different projects. I think everyone was kind of doing things the same way with just, a number of OpenSea tabs open, trying to keep track of everything in a spreadsheet. OpenSea didn't even display, the floor price on their site. So, the site was initially created to really fill and kind of, fill a need I had personally that luckily everyone else in the space kind of also, was facing in terms of how do you keep track of everything that you own. Really along the way, just try to understand, what are features, what are functionality that I personally need to be able to keep track of my portfolio, and constantly, pinging and asking our users and others in the community kind of the features and functionality that they need and that they would find useful to add to the site. So, the approach, the mindset from the beginning, just keeping our eyes, our ears open to the gaps, the pain points, and the problems that exist without good solutions, and trying to do our best to build around them. With each feature that we've pushed and, all the new functionality, we've really tried to focus and prioritize speed and minimum viable products, trying to push functionality out as fast as we can while kind of having our own plans for iteration, but allowing our users to get their hands on the features and provide feedback to really help dictate the direction that we take them. As of today, we deliver a leading portfolio tool that provides the most flexible and trusted data around valuing a user's holdings. As you can see here, as we put on our landing page, a trusted platform allowing you to save more time and allowing you to capture more value. So, alongside this portfolio tool, we will be launching Newsfeed to complement the portfolio and really trying to engage the most informed and trusted collectors in the project system to curate and distill the most important updates about the project. So I'm going to hand things over to Ray right now to kind of go through a bit of a demo of the portfolio page, the dashboard, along with the upcoming newsfeed.
Thanks, Tom. So I think the easiest way for me to kind of give, an entry-level user kind of an idea of the value of WGMI is to kind of go through my daily routine. So every day, I kind of wake up, get some coffee, and I check my portfolio page. I'll look for, big movements in potential floor price over the last day. So this 1 day delta will kind of show different floor price movements. I'll see if anything really jumps out. Unfortunately for me, not much has jumped out over the last day. It's been a bit of a rough market lately. So, it's been a nice surprise when something does kind of jump out here. I can look at it, see if it's the time to sell, see what's causing the volume, do a little bit of analysis on it, and then kind of make a buy sell decision there. In addition to that, I'll kind of, sort my collection based on total value. I'll look at, what assets I hold. Do I need to do any kind of cleaning up and any kind of housekeeping? We have a nice tagging system here that can kind of let me sort and tag. I can see that, I still haven't tagged my my Clonex forging. I'll kind of mark them as a kind of like a utility here, and it was acquired via Mint, and I consider the Clonex ecosystem kind of a blue chip ecosystem. So I can tag by different features. It helps me kind of keep organized. When I filter, like maybe I only want to look at my blue chip collections today, I can kind of filter through, look at just kind of my blue chip holdings, how they're kind of stacking up, the different tiers, different collections inside of each. See if there's any movement or changes I need to kind of be aware of there. A second sort of, I think we have somebody unmuted in Discord. Yeah. All right, there we go. So then a second piece of housekeeping I'll normally do after I filter by tag. I'll just make sure that, my cost is kind of set for assets that I've minted or have hold differently. We allow you to, value your projects not only by project floor, which will take, the OpenSea floor as a valuation method. We also allow you to value your projects by traits, and we allow you to do that on a per asset basis. So I minted Huxley Humans recently, and I minted a gold. I want to filter by that trait. For that asset, I minted another one, pretty much a floor, nothing special. So I don't want to really look at these other trait floors for valuation. I'll just value that by project floor. And, I'll look over things that I've recently minted, things I bought recently, and make sure I'm doing kind of a little bit of cleanup there. It helps me kind of simplify my routine as I can filter, drill down, look at exactly what I want to do. So after I look at the portfolio page, I'll generally head over to the dashboard. This is kind of a curated list of roughly 200 projects we kind of add and subtract from on a daily basis, based on kind of relevancy in the market, historical value, and some other metrics that we kind of talk about as a team. So here I'll kind of look at some projects based on different criteria. I might see what's moved the most over the last day. A lot of times this will be, a lot of illiquid art that may have just delistings or maybe one item sold. I can kind of look at the 1 day volume as I'm looking at this, and I can say, okay, well, Mutants moved up a bit. They had some volume. It's good to see, still kicking around a bit here as a blue chip collection. I continue to kind of look at maybe 7 day delta to kind of see what's been trending over the last week, kind of while also paying attention to the volume numbers. So, Wolf Game I know has been running pretty well over the last week. Gutter Cat Gang as well. I think they have a token upcoming. I'm sure we'll hear news about that soon. I wouldn't be surprised if we hear something at Gutter Con in Las Vegas. I believe that's coming up in the next few weeks. So when I find a project like that I'm a little bit more interested in, I'll dive into our Project Explorer page. And so this Project Explorer page is available for all of our collections. It shows kind of a bit more refined data on each individual collection, along with some useful graphs and some other sections that kind of help you get a good picture on the asset and what's going on. So on the left-hand side, I'll kind of look at the collection info. I'll kind of see, how many are listed. I can see kind of the change here, number of sales over the last, 1 day, 7 day, 30 days, kind of the average sale price. You look at the average sale price, it's kind of increasing over the last few different sections there. I then can kind of look at floor. I don't really care much about floor over like the entire lifespan of Gutter Cat. I'm really just going to be concerned about looking over, maybe the last month or so, or maybe 2 months. And I can see, floor price go up. That's always good. Listings kind of going down. We've seen kind of a recent uptick in listings as the floors increased. Interesting to see that. Definitely something to take note of. We also now track best offer as well as kind of the spread between best offer and floor. So the best offers kind of went up. You can kind of see that trending with the floor price. And now I can also look at the spread. The spread, slowly, kind of declining here over the last few months. As that spread kind of approaches zero, you're finding a lot more liquidity as, the buy side and the sell side are approaching each other. There's a bit more liquidity in that actual project. You can see sales maybe slowly increasing in terms of a trend over time. We also, show volume, the average price, and the number of unique owners. I'll look at unique owners. This is increasing slowly. The scale is, a fairly small range, but good to see an increase there. Then I'll kind of take a look at, our listings and sales on OpenSea, kind of what's sold recently. You can take a quick look here, and I'm just seeing lots of floor. So all the liquidity is based around the floor here. And that'll make a lot more, it'll kind of inform my decision. I'll kind of show you a bit later looking at trade floors. But when I'm looking at, liquidity, if it's all based on the floor, I'm not seeing many rares. It's kind of may turn me off to potentially picking up something that's not a floor item. Here we show listing range. I'll kind of generally go just a bit above the floor, kind of see where walls may exist along there to see like what it would take to potentially sweep into a profitable position. And if I'm really considering entering, I may look at some of these trade floor gaps. Basically, what these are showing is the gap between the floor asset and the next listed asset. So if I go back to that, 10 ETH high floor there, I can see this necklace here has a large gap in it. I can, do a bit more research, go right out to OpenSea, and take a look. All right, big gap, but is this a trait that is necessarily wanted? I can kind of, just using OpenSea, look at some last sales to see what's recently sold. And 12.5 ETH is the last sale, but that was 3 months ago. So maybe this isn't a trait that would necessarily warrant sniping, and it's not necessarily a project that would warrant sniping as, it's been a lot of floor volume over the last few months here. I went to one of our curators, Stony. It's a nice one. So that's about it for like kind of unpacking the portfolio dashboard here. I'll throw it back to Clemente to reset the room, and then I'll show you a bit more about the newsfeed tool we're building and going to be launching with this new NFT drop.
All right, terrific. Yeah, so my background, I got into other NFTs after kind of eventually getting into NBA Top Shot. I took a shotgun approach. Basically, there were so many different projects launching all the time. I wanted exposure to a lot of different things. I quickly ended up investing in well over 200 projects, and kind of started off as a blast, but it became increasingly frustrating before I finally kind of gave up trying to keep up with many of these projects, which I still had an investment in, and I still have an investment in to this day. Being in some different Discords, I knew I wasn't the only one kind of dealing with this Discord and Twitter overwhelm. Not being able to keep up with everything that's going on and kind of missing out on opportunities, especially when the market was really moving. So what we're doing is we really kind of want to make collecting NFTs fun again. We want to be able to have users get the information they need to make the best decisions they can, and be able to dive deeper into the communities and projects that they're most passionate about, while we cover everything else for them, providing the news, providing the updates to make sure that they're not missing out on opportunities or valuable information. So that's really what it's about. It's about saving time for our users, helping our users capture more utility, and ultimately giving them trusted information, both financial and news, the quantitative with the qualitative, to basically make better decisions and better outcomes. One of the things I want to touch on real quick before kind of Ray dives into the newsfeed tool is kind of really talking about the contributor economy. That's one of the things I'm most passionate about, is building this model, aligning with that Web3 ethos, creating jobs and opportunities. And first, it leads to a better product. We really think human curation by experts in the different ecosystems is the best way. Those experts understand the nuances of projects and communities. They're on top of not only the official news that comes from the team, but also the unofficial news of what the community is saying, speculation, rumors, all those things that can potentially impact the project's floor price, volume, etc. And then it allows us to, again, create jobs and opportunities, keeping some of these engaged and passionate collectors in the space that's not dependent on market conditions or liquidating their assets to, make ends meet. We're kind of providing an opportunity for them to earn income. So, we've got curators which dive deeper into individual projects. We've got them hired for most of our launch projects, but we're going to continue to add more projects every month. So we do have information on the site about applying for curators. We're always looking for them for our next round of projects. And then we also have analysts, which cover a broader scope of the NFT market. And they'll be producing long form content as well as kind of creating news articles for the items that are not in a curated ecosystem. So at this point, I'll kind of turn it back over to Ray and let him actually dive into the Newsfeed tool a little bit and show you guys what that's all about.
Yeah, thank you for that, Brennan. So, we've been working on this for a while. It's been something, we think is so needed, and I'm excited to kind of finally show you kind of the full functionality of the Newsfeed page. So this is the main Newsfeed page here. On the left side, you'll see all of your projects that you own or have in your watch list. On the right side, you'll see the news feed. So this is one news item here, and I can kind of break down what's happening here. There is a bit going on. So to start with, we kind of have the title of the news item. You have the collection it belongs to. You have the body of the news item, which contains any relevant information, dates, and links. In addition to that, you have the source. If it's an official source coming right from the team, it'll be official. If it's another source, our curators will specify and kind of provide a little bit of background on why that source may or may not be trustworthy. We will also have relevant collections. Some news items may apply to all collections within a ecosystem. Some news items may only apply to specific. So there may be a proof claim, but it doesn't have anything to do with potentially oddities or moonbirds. So we'll be serving that kind of update to, proof holders or pinging proof holders, as opposed to, pinging everybody if it's not a relevant update for their specific holdings. We then have a link to the original source. This will take you out to the source of the announcement, whether it's a Medium article, a Discord page, a Twitter post, etc. Our users can then interact with these posts. The thumbs up marks this update as relevant. So this basically is saying, hey, this is a relevant update for me. It's something that I expected to see, and is something that I would continue to want to see. The fire is a valuable update. So this is the type of update that provides value. So if you're looking at valuable claims, raffles, airdrops, something that's going to provide direct value to you, or you receive direct value from this news update, this is kind of the icon you will use there. Like, these icons will give us feedback on the curation process. It'll allow us to modify this as we go. It's a kind of a living, breathing process. And user feedback is going to be an important role that will kind of play throughout this process, as we can see what kind of content is relevant, what kind of content is valuable, and then deliver the most relevant and valuable content to our users. We also have the report button. There's an error in the news event that you need to report if the link is off, if there's any kind of issue, or for whatever reason it isn't a relevant update and there's some reason that we need to report it. This would kind of be your outlet as a user to report that. These reports will be viewed. We take these very seriously. We want to make sure that user input is heard. And, and if a post is reported enough, maybe there's a bad link or a bad actor got in the system, we'll automatically hide that news event so that you're not seeing a potential dangerous news item there. So in addition to the action buttons here, we have tags. These tags are entered in by our curators as they enter in news updates. We have rumors, news, key dates, claim, raffle, utility, airdrop, and warning to start with. We'll be adding more of these as we see fit, as we determine, other news categories. And the power of these tags is, if expand a project, you can filter on these tags per project. So you may have a project that you may or may not care about, news and utility, and maybe you only care about, claims or raffle opportunities for that project. You can, hide the irrelevant to you tags and only see what is potentially valuable. You also can kind of sort this all news feed, which is kind of displayed in chronological order. You can kind of filter down to an individual collection. I can filter into 10KTF, and you can, then filter on and off independently these tags of other projects. So like I said, you can filter on a per collection basis. As you expand and contract these rows, you can see the newsfeed updates on the right side. So sometimes you may want to see news that, let me see news for all of the projects across WGMI's curation. I may be interested to see, what is going on in the overall market as a whole. And we provide you that ability through the See All News toggle. This will load all news from all projects that we curate. So it will be kind of a similar experience for the user, except rather than being limited to their own projects, they now have drop downs and filters for every single project that we curate. This becomes a bit more powerful when we introduce these global tags. So when you introduce global tags and filters, you can then even filter down on a deeper level all of the news. So you can say, hey, show me all claims across all curated projects. You can see what is offering claims, see what's happening, in chronological order, and potentially look at some of these for price movement. If you wanted to get into a project, or you're looking at a project, they just had a claim, maybe the value has dropped a bit, or they had an airdrop, maybe there's a good entry point. And you can also kind of use it just to explore different projects in terms of, hey, let me see what this ecosystem has to offer. Let me look through their news and see what they provided holders over the last 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, as we kind of build out this news archive to look at the relevant, actionable news updates that these projects are actually pushing out there. If you see these, you're looking at all these opportunities for a project you don't hold, you could say, oh, maybe investing in this would have been a good idea, might still be a good idea. They're continuing to deliver value to their holders through these news items. Outside of that, I can talk a bit about how we curate these projects for what is and what isn't in our news system. So initially, we have 16 curated ecosystems. You can find those if you go to our landing page, into our feature guide. You'll open that up. You'll see some of the curated ecosystems there on our contributor Git book. So what will qualify something to be on that list going forward is essentially we have 5 or 6 factors we're looking at. We're looking at, what percentage of our holders own that asset. We're looking at, the volume, not only in terms of ETH, but in terms of number of sales for that collection across all assets in that ecosystem. We're looking at, is the ecosystem complex? Does it require, a deep, dive to understand? The more complex an ecosystem, the more valuable it will be to get, deeply curated news from a curator who's in tune with that ecosystem. We also look at the frequency of news, like, are they constantly building? Are there constantly updates? In addition to that, are there constantly, events that these curators need to attend to stay filled in? Are they constantly having, weekly town halls, AMAs, where they're, introducing, actionable, relevant news for holders? So we expect our curators to be attending these, and, the more of these there are, the more priority there is to get that ecosystem into our system. And while we are kind of looking at this deep curation for a smaller subset of projects, we're constantly expanding the number of projects that are just available on the site. Like Brendan was talking about earlier, we have these analysts that are also doing wide-ranging curation. They're looking at the news of the day. We're entering in new collections, ecosystems daily to do like a shorter dive, but a wider net for these other projects that aren't going to be getting the deeper curation at day of launch. So while your assets may not be on this initial list of 15, we are going to be covering a lot of the bigger projects, right from launch, as we have this team of analysts who is basically watching, the NFT news space and entering updates as they're kind of seeing relevant and actual updates come to light. With that being said, I'm going to turn it back over to Clemente. He'll talk to you a bit about our mint that's coming up in less than 24 hours, what that entails, the supply, and the mechanics of that.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ray. It was, to be honest, this is the first time I've seen you do a full walkthrough of the news feed and really summarize everything in a 4 to 5 minute span. I found it was really cool just to see it all in one ecosystem, and it got me really excited of what this could possibly look like, both right now and once we launch this and people get their hands on it on Monday, but also what it could look like in 3 to 4 months. Right now we have 16 ecosystems and almost 10 curators that we're working with. I'm just thinking about what about when it's double that or triple that, and just the amount of information and value that our users can get from this, in addition to everything else that we also provide our users, gets me really excited, both as a being on the team, but also from an NFT holder's perspective. Definitely getting excited about the time that this can save me. But going forward, about the overall mint timeline. So tomorrow at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern, our allow-less sale will begin. This will last for 24 hours. The mint price will be 0.15 ETH. And just I don't know if we covered this earlier, but in terms of context, over half of our revenue and the proceeds from this mint will go directly to funding and maintaining our ecosystem of curators and contributors and analysts, and bringing more people on. As far as the overall supply, the overall mintable supply will be 1,500. And on Friday, September 9th at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, our public sale will begin. The public price will be 0.2 ETH, and these passes, or minting one of these passes, will give you two things. The first will be access to all WGMI features, everything that we're doing right now, including any premium or premium plus features. You will get access to everything. You can learn more about that by clicking on our website, WGMI.io, to get a full walkthrough of what that will look like. But it will also, so it'll give you access to that up until, as Ray is going through, up until December 31st, 2022. And it will also give you priority and a 30% discounted mint of our Season 1 All Access Pass. And following the public sale, then we will be airdropping our users that met the snapshot requirements last night. They will be getting the airdrop of the All Access Pass. And this Monday, so in less than a week, as a user, you'll actually be able to get your hands on what Ray just talked about. For the last 4 or 5 days, we've been giving our curators access, and they've been feeding this news feed with informations and updates that you'll be able to actually read and get your hands on every single day, starting this Monday. So as far as timeline goes, that is pretty much all that we have. We'd love to now, so just for some context, if anyone's listening in on Twitter, we are also live on Discord. What we'd love to do now is possibly open it up for any questions. If anyone has any, and just walk through, we'll kind of open up the room to anyone in case they want to ask any questions. I know we have some people listening in on Discord. Tom, Ray, Brennan, have you seen any questions come through? You can also DM us on Twitter if you have any questions there.
Yep, I didn't see any questions come in through Twitter or Discord yet, but definitely happy to hang around. And if any questions pop in your guys' head, or if you have any questions about the mint or the drop, happy to stick around and answer those. Definitely think Ray did a great job with the demo. Really excited to push this out to our users and let everyone get their hands on it starting next week. So, really excited for the next few days here. Really like how the site looks, and it looks like someone asked if there's, a competitor in this space. We've definitely seen a few tools, a few tools that are doing something similar in terms of trying to curate news and information regarding your project's holdings. As far as we're aware, we're definitely the only tool in the space that will have the portfolio piece plus the news feed with the contributor economy and contributor model that we've put together here. So, this combination of tools, offerings is definitely something that is unique to us. We definitely feel having, the biggest supporters from some of the ecosystems that we're launching with, kind of gives us, it's almost like a super team, of kind of people who are able to generate the best content for each of these projects. We definitely feel this is quite an advantage over screen scraping tools that might be scraping Twitter, scraping Discord, that still doesn't necessarily separate, some of the signals from the noise. So I think the human curated news is something that, we're very, very excited to bring you. We've had a lot of great conversations with our contributors, with some of the analysts that we've been bringing on board and talking to as well. So, we definitely feel and have a ton of ideas for ways to really blend the data that you see on the portfolio side, the dashboard, and the Project Explorer, along with the news that you're seeing here in the news feed, to be able to present some really new, exciting, and different kinds of views of data and of information regarding your holdings. But yeah, definitely thanks for that question there.
Love
I don't
that.
know if you guys have anything to add.
I have one question. I was just kind of thinking out loud. Ray, if you could answer this for me, because you've been working for some context, Ray is the head of partnerships. So he's really been spearheading and been the most hands-on in terms of onboarding our curators and contributors to this tool. And, we've been planning this for quite some time as far as theoretically what we think this should look like. What's been exciting is over the last week or so, we've been giving our contributors actual access to the tool. So Ray, I'm curious what their experience has been like so far, and maybe what your initial thoughts are as you've been seeing this come through and going from theory to actually working on this and seeing it come up live. How's that experience been so far?
Well, I mean, honestly, it's been great. I've been able to capitalize on some news events that I may or may not have been able to capitalize on before. I know that Matoshi, our 10KTF contributor, put some information about the different missions and delays that allowed me to kind of jump in and get my 10KTF set up and gone on the mission. So something I probably would have missed otherwise. It's been a whirlwind of a past month, and I definitely have missed out on a lot. But just going through this new news feed, working with the contributors through it, I'm also already reaping the rewards. That's part of why I'm so excited to kind of release this to our users. As I've already, I think for my own benefit, have made more than what the mint price is going to be, which is hard to say. It's surprising to say, considering it's only been about a week of our curators entering this information in. I've entered in a number of the Knights of Degen pools. I made sure that I remembered to craft all the Clonex, sent my 10KTF guys on a mission. So already reaping value, having all that information in one place where otherwise I would have to track it down. It's been a lot of ignoring notifications for me lately in Discord as I'm trying to focus on reaching out to partners, reaching out to curators, finding what ecosystems are going to curate next, kind of going down the list, looking at all those kind of influencers, content creators, YouTubers, everyone who's kind of producing content for these new ecosystems. It's definitely taken a lot of time, and a lot of the time has come away from my, looking at projects that I own. So being able to kind of interact with this, approve the messages, see what's coming through has kind of provided its value multiple fold for me already. Something else that I think we should talk about that we might have skipped over a bit is kind of the roadmap going forward. While this newsfeed tool is great in its current state, we're also going to be releasing notifications. We're going to allow you to get push notifications, and you'll be able to kind of opt in on a per project and per tag basis. So you can say, hey, I only want to get notifications from certain projects. Maybe if there's an airdrop or maybe if there's a claim. Many valuable news items are time sensitive. So if you can get that pushed out to you immediately, it's going to provide a lot of value and potentially allow you to get ahead of the market or get somewhere where you can actually capitalize on that information. I know Tom's wants to add a bit more about what we've been talking about. I'll let him kind of jump in here for a minute, and then I'll kind of continue on some of the other roadmap items we're looking at.
Yeah, thanks, Ray. And just wanted to add, along with just being able to kind of chat with some of these experts across these different ecosystems, another benefit is just having all of them, being able to have them in our Discord kind of in one place. Enjoyed chatting with them so far, but if you have questions, they've been chiming in the premium alpha channel, the premium general channels. So, having them kind of become part of our internal community, it has been a really great added benefit here. So, as they're posting some of these, newsfeed articles, some of the information here, if you do have follow-up questions, if something is unclear, if you do need some more information, they've been really happy to kind of jump in and engage in some of the conversations within the Discord as well. So, it's been, really great kind of having them, having them in there and being able to kind of chat with them. So just wanted to mention that it's been, really great getting to know a lot of the different contributors so far, and excited to keep growing, our ecosystems in the community that way too.
Awesome. Yes, I agree completely. It's almost been like a hidden benefit is, having the contributors in one place, watching them kind of answer community questions, seeing them pumped about the project. I've spent a lot of time working on finding contributors and finding, projects to partner with. And one of the things I've taken away is, everyone loves what we're building. Everyone loves the idea. I haven't ran into one person yet who's been like, maybe this isn't something we need, or maybe you're going about this the wrong way. I think everyone, when they hear the full pitch and what this provides, really are excited and just excited to be a part of something that's so needed in the NFT community. Another roadmap.
Yeah, sorry, just one more there. Yeah, and the other thing that I think we've been kind of realizing with this, it takes time as a collector, as an investor, to keep up with all of this news, to keep up with all of this information. So, us kind of taking that pressure almost off of you and allowing you to then spend, if you want to be more engaged in some of these communities and some of the projects that you're in, allowing you to kind of step away from having to stay on top of everything by having this curated list of data, of news, of information, so that you can kind of browse through that list, see if there's anything that you're aware of, but it then allows you to spend the time in your free time, your extra time as you want, instead of having to kind of be the one grinding and making sure you're not missing out on anything. So we definitely love the fact and love the idea that we're able to do that and able to enable you guys to kind of enjoy collecting NFTs again, enjoy kind of engaging deeper with some of the communities, and trying to kind of, relight the fire and have some of the fun that existed, I believe, when we all kind of first got into the space. So trying to take some of that work out of it, and take that upon ourselves so that you really can get back to enjoying NFTs again.
I know I talked a bit about notifications as well. I think another thing that people will be excited about rolling forward with this newsfeed tool is going to be an integrated calendar. We plan to add, a calendar to our site, so you not only have your news items, some of them may not be actionable today. They may be something you want to add to our internal calendar, so you can keep, portfolio news and kind of action items in one place. Or we'll also kind of allow you to export news items to the calendar of your choice if you prefer to get served news that way. Just another little bit that will help provide more value to the news and kind of more value as a collector and holder. Allow you to make sure you're maximizing the utility there. And then also, we're not done on the portfolio side. We're talking a lot about newsfeed and kind of what that entails. We're also going to be enhancing kind of data and analytics on our site. We've recently launched, the custom chart creator, where you can, go to different charts that you have saved. You can look at them. I go to kind of a Moonbirds chart. I go to blue chip charts to kind of see what's going on with different blue chip projects. We're going to be enhancing this. We're going to be potentially adding indexes where you can either use custom or use public indexes, or maybe create your own index and kind of use that as a quick hitter for kind of a gauge on how the market is doing. Tom's also just about wrapped up with wallet history. Wallet history is going to be a big piece that's going to be dropping shortly after launch. It's going to allow you to get a good look at not only your current holdings, but you're going to be able to see historical profit and loss. And I don't know if you want to talk a bit more about that, Tom, the different kind of filtering and functionality that's available there.
Sure, just had to come off mute. Yeah, so we're definitely excited about wallet history. It's kind of been a long time coming here, and had to almost put it on hold a little bit while we were kind of, merging some of these news feed changes into our primary branches ahead of the launch. But, definitely initially, just being able to show that complete wallet history that exists, global filters where you can just search across all projects, search across token IDs, different types of tokens, different types of transactions, being able to understand and see a breakdown across each project, your profit and loss. We definitely have further plans to, allow you to possibly edit or modify any kind of transaction, or flag any transaction that you feel is incorrect. We do feel like we have a pretty good spam filter or spam collection filter in place as well, which is something that's, definitely pretty important. So you're not seeing a lot of these kind of spammy airdrops and other assets that you didn't really, collect in your portfolio. And you will have the ability, the same way on the portfolio side, the same way you have on the newsfeed side, to tie in more than one wallet at a time to be able to see the wallet history, across all of those. So, we definitely encourage you do that, so that, if you did buy NFTs on one wallet and transfer them to another, always encourage you to put in all the different wallets that you've kind of transacted on, so that you can see, a really clear picture of the history and, of your total profit and loss that exists. You can also export the table to Excel, to CSV, to be able to view it that way, which will honor any kind of sorting and filtering that you currently have in place on the tables. So really excited to push that out. I know myself, being able to kind of go through and filter that out, and kind of take a look at each of the collections and see how I've done, see how I've performed, is definitely a great feature to have. And it's definitely something I wish we pushed out much sooner. And this is something that should really allow us, no promises in the short term, but to really get a little bit better and kind of continue to make progress towards possible, tax reporting down the road, being able to really see how you've performed and hopefully generate some of those different reports that you can hand off, to accountants. But that's definitely something that's longer term, on the roadmap there, but something that, once we have this wallet history in place, should be a step in that direction.
Awesome. Thank you, Tom. Well, look, we're hitting just about the hour mark. Look, I think this was super helpful for people that were kind of curious as far as the visual goes, to get a rundown of WGMI's history, what it might look like going forward, and just get a visual for what the tool is going to look like as far as the newsfeed feature goes. We have been getting a lot of people over the last couple of weeks coming in and just being completely new to WGMI. So we wanted to do this just as a way to get them really caught up on what's coming up, so they can be as informed as possible for this mint that we have coming tomorrow at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. If you guys don't see anything else coming up, I think it might be best to potentially just close this down. Seth, I saw, just jumped into our AMA and jumped into ask a question if this was recorded. Yes. Seth, what I'm going to do right as soon as this finishes is get on the recording, trim it up a little bit, take out like that little intro we did for the first 5 minutes or so, and it will be uploaded on YouTube. It will be timestamped so you can go through specifically by features. We'll upload that on YouTube, and we'll share it on Twitter as well for anyone that's listening and maybe jumped in towards the tail of it. But yeah, other than that, guys, if no one else had anything to add, I think this got me really excited. And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it looks like someone asked, if you can save settings, save the filter settings. So that is something, the same way on the portfolio side that you have those kind of preferences and toggles at the top. Those filter settings, both global filter and per project, will be stored kind of with your user settings and restored across devices. So, those are things, once you set those and, come back to the site, you will be able to see those, and those will restore every time you hit the site there. So just wanted to call that out. And Ray did have a screenshot that he popped up of wallet history. So just, a glimpse of it, definitely not in its final state, but being able to show your total realized at the top, kind of see all the different transactions that exist. If it's a position that you've closed, we'll show the cost that you paid for it, the total that you closed the position for, along with that realized amount, that realized total there too. So, a lot of different links that could kind of, take you out to, the wallet that received the asset, the wallet that moved the asset. You can kind of just open up the Etherscan transaction, open up the token itself or the asset itself. So, a lot of different functionality there that you can kind of, really see a good picture of your portfolio and all the transactions that you've made across whatever wallets you're looking up. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for today. Unless anybody has anything else, definitely appreciate everybody's time. Always love kind of going through the site, going through some of the features and the updates. Always encourage everyone to share. If you have any requests, if you have any features, ideas, things you'd like to see, any issues that you're experiencing with the site, always happy to talk through anything or work through some features, and definitely hoping to get back to that once we're kind of past this launch, past the NFT release, want to get back to being a bit more active in the Discord, a bit more active with some of the features we're building, taking that feedback and continuing to build out the system together, build out the tool together. So, always appreciate you guys providing some of those thoughts, ideas, suggestions, feedback, both positive and negative. It really helps us become a better product, better company, and continue building out something great here. So appreciate everyone's time, and we'll be around if you guys do have any other questions or want to chat a bit more moving forward. But thanks so much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we're gonna make it.
Thanks, guys. You have a good rest of your day. We will see you bright and early tomorrow morning for the allow-less minting at 8 a.m. In the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to DM us, jump on Discord. We'll be on it all day as we kind of prep for this launch. I know most of us are going to have our head down working, but we'll make sure to check Twitter, check Discord pretty often to be able to answer your questions there and get ramped up, because we have a big day tomorrow, but we're really excited and we can't wait to share this tool with you all. Thanks so much, and everyone, have a great rest of your day.